Some of your people, I think. Would you like to do the prayer for us when she gives us the thumbs up?
Sure.
So, what is your name?
My name is Nelsie.
Elsie?
Nelsie.
Nelsie.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're going to stay in this room rather than that room?
I wanted to try.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. So, let's start with a prayer.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our last night of the 4-week session on My Heart Remembers, book on Swami Kriyananda's life, the last period, written by Narayani. Let's begin with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, dearest friend, beloved God, Lord Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar, beloved Guru, Paramhansa Yogananda, saints of all religions, friend and guide, Swami Kriyananda. Thank you for the example of your lives,
Thank you for the example of your lives,
for walking the steps of discipleship,
walking the steps of discipleship,
that we too may become free,
that we too may become free,
free to love unconditionally,
free to love unconditionally,
free to live in unconditional bliss,
free to live in unconditional bliss,
free from all compulsions and desires,
free from all compulsions and desires,
free from all that keeps us from our union with God.
free from all that keeps us from our union with God.
Bless us in our steps,
Bless us in our steps,
that we may realize
that we may realize
that freedom
freedom
in our souls.
in our souls.
Om. Peace. Amen.
The first chant that we chose for going with tonight's themes of what Narayani was writing about in the book, in the last section of the book, is I am free, and there's a lot of words to it, so we put it up on the wall for you. I am nothing, I am free. In myself I am free. I own no one, I am free. In myself I am free. I need nothing, I am free. In myself I am free. I need no one, I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. I am free, ever free. In myself I am free. I am joyful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am blissful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself I am free. I own nothing, I am free. In myself I am free. I own no one, I am free. In myself I am free. I need nothing, I am free. In myself I am free. I need no one, I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. I am free, ever free. In myself I am free. I am joyful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am blissful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself I am free. I need nothing, I am free. In myself I am free. I need no one, I am free. In myself I am free. I need nothing, I am free. In myself I am free. I need no one, I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. I am free, ever free. In myself I am free. I am joyful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am blissful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself I am free.
Let's just meditate together for a few moments, doing whatever technique you feel to do, or watching your breath as it comes in and out in its own timing, allowing your concentration to go inward and upward to the point between the eyebrows. And let's drop any technique and leave the last minute just for silent absorption, whatever you feel in your heart. Light, love, joy, peace. Shanti. Amen. Well, nice to be with you all again. We got a voicemail from Narayani just this morning, so I thought I'd share with you all. She said she somehow had found out that the class was happening in Palo Alto. That had already happened. I told her it was coming, but she's been quite busy, so somehow it landed in her world, and so she went. She said, so I watched the class, and she said, I was happy to see the spirit of the class. He said, you all just got it just right. And the format with the music and everybody asking questions. And she just said, that's just perfect. It's just right the way it, she said, I would have done myself. So the spirit is good with this group coming together. It's been a lovely opportunity to dive deeper into this class, into this book. And this week, there were 4 chapters we were doing, all of them good.
I think you may have been 5.
5? And
But you read them all.
I read them all, yeah, and many little points that we can make, and the discussion may bring out more things. But the focus of the night, as you can tell already by the prayer and the chant, we thought at this point, chronologically, Narayani's been with him for the last maybe 4 years of his life, and it's getting into the 3rd and a half year. So she's starting to show us what it looks like to live with a soul who's getting ready to be finished. I mean finished, not just because the body gives out and you leave, but finished because his karma's finished. And like his guru said, he would find God at the end of his life. So she's the little witness who shows us what it's like to be around someone. As he went deeper in his consciousness, she said they would be talking, and she would just realize he needed to withdraw and go inside, so she'd just be silent. She then was taking more and more on of all the things that he wanted her to do. She started, making his appointments and choosing what time to see people and what people to see and what topics to do. I mean, a lot of, because he trusted her to do that now, and a lot of it was unspoken now, and he was more and more starting to go inside. And he went to Goa, and usually he would bring all the colony leaders with him. It would be like you could call it a conference of all the leaders, but it was really just them being together, enjoying each other. Things would come up. They would talk about the work, but it was being friends together and relaxing away from all the things that all the colony leaders do, including Swami. So they would have this time in Goa at this place. And then this year, he said, yes, let's go.
Goa is in India.
In India, the Spanish, yeah. So this year, he said, I just want you and Shurjo to come. I don't want other people around. So again, he's starting to, minimize his output, his connections personally and outwardly with people. So we watch as that happens, and then we watch what the large part of the discussion is going to be on tonight is the letter, the famous letter that Swamiji wrote. And this was a letter.
The
Easter email letter. And this was a letter that was vastly misunderstood by many people at Ananda, even some of the people who were with him from the beginning. Some of the people were living far away from him. They weren't like Narayani watching him day by day. So when they first read that, they were, oh my goodness, he's having a hard time. We better help him. This is scary. What's the matter with our Swami? He's not happy. He's losing his enthusiasm, things like that. We'll get into the letter more in depth. But at the time, some of us who'd been around Swami in the not too distant past, by the time the letter came out, and we watched him go through a lot of those times where he was having to pull himself in, and he was having a lot of physical difficulties, and more as the years went by, more and more trips to the hospital, more and more, he almost died, but he didn't. Many of us praying for him, we got a number of those emails. It looks like Swami could be dying now, and we would all get together and pray, like anything, for him. And I must say that for many of us, the prayer was no doubt partly, please don't die, because I would miss you. What will we do without you? There was a little bit of that in the early. But he was always very patient. He always gave us a lot of opportunities to learn, to get it right. So he didn't die after the first 3 or 4 possibilities. But then finally, he did leave the body. And just before he left the body, he wrote this letter. And when I read the letter, he sent it out to people who usually would read his work as he was working on it, and I'd worked for Crystal Clarity. I was on that list. So we got it right away, and I said, now what does this mean for Swami? Where is Swami in this? What is Swami trying to tell us? Why is he sending a letter about this? I mean, we all have moments when I remember once, this was years earlier, 15 years earlier or something, but I remember showing up at Swami's once with paperwork from Crystal Clarity, and he just looked sad. I'd never seen him look sad the whole time I was there for, this was the only time in 8 years that I really saw him sad. I saw him disappointed during SRF, but this was different, and I walked in, I said, Swamiji, what's the matter? Oh, he said, I've been struggling with depression. And it was about something of the heart. It was something deep in him. It was a sadness, and it just happened to be manifesting. But I noticed it was interesting. He didn't say, I am depressed, or I'm in depression. And this maybe was just for me that he would say it, but I am struggling with. So I remember that as a good way that a warrior devotee handles such states as they come around. No, you struggle with them. You don't allow them to just have their way. Whatever it is that moves through, you don't just, well, now I'm sad, now I'm happy even, now I'm this or I am that, because what are we? I am free, right? And we limit ourselves when we say I'm this or I'm that. Those are changing states. Anyway, all that to say, that was years and years earlier, but no sign of, he'd been so transcended through all the challenges of his health, and he'd just been so free for so long. For those of us around him, it was feeling that way, that he was moving ever closer to just being transcendent. And so by the time he wrote that letter, I thought, what?
We're now back to 2013.
We're now back to the letter on Easter.
2013.
1 week before he left the body, I think.
A few weeks, yeah.
Maybe a few weeks, somewhere in there, less than a month, certainly. And I remember thinking, just trying to tune into him and say, what is going on for you, Swamiji? And then I remembered, I see. It's that thing that we all learned about in the beginning of the path when we went to Raja Yoga or whatever it is. What is this yoga thing that we're all doing? And there was the state in the beginning, what the soul does, isn't it? Neti, not this, not that. My happiness is not found in human love, because I've had a lot of heartbreaks there. Okay, I get it. My happiness is not found in lots of things, because I had some things, I lost some things, I wanted some things, I got some things, I didn't do it. I'm not there. Things aren't it. We tried lifetime after lifetime to see where our happiness is going to come from. We tried lots of things. And by the time you're on the path, you're kind of thinking, what is it then? I don't see any of these things being it. So, no, it's not that. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. The old story of the man in the service who realized the Navy or the Army, whatever it was not for him. The Army was not for him. He had to get out of there no matter what. So he didn't relate to anything. He just kind of closed himself off. I'm sure there's a lot of fancy labels the psychiatrist wanted to put on him, and probably did, but he just didn't care about any of it. The only thing he did is he walked around picking up pieces of paper. Picking up pieces of paper. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Well, you can imagine his commanding officers and all the people he was, in the Corps with were thinking, oh, this guy's in trouble. He must be, pretty cuckoo, that's all he's doing. He's not listening or paying attention to anything else. So they send him to the psychiatrist. And he walks in and he does the same thing, looks on the psychiatrist's desk, that's not it, that's all he did. Wouldn't relate to the psychiatrist, didn't work. So the psychiatrist looks at the guy, okay, writes out a thing, gives it to the commanding officer. The commanding officer calls him in and he says, all right, after all the assessments we've done, given your behavior and everything, here you go. He looks at him and he goes, that's it. It was his it was his letting him go.
Discharge.
Discharge is the word, from the service. It was his honor, whatever, by illness or something, he got out. This is it. I got out. That's what he wanted. So, many of us sort of think, gee, there's a lot of suffering that goes on with these things. It's not this, because I've learned, and that's involved a certain amount of suffering. So I want to get out of here. I want to get out of this desire and hurt and, the ups and downs. I want to get out. I remember Ananda once, I'm looking at the sign in the back of the room, she was in the court case being grilled by what Swamiji gave the term, these really bad lawyers who were cult busters, and they really wanted to destroy Swami was their goal, as we overheard them in a men's room conversation.
Back in the 90s.
Anyway, and the 90s, the big lawsuit of Ananda that Ananda had, was being sued by others. And they said, we're going to destroy Swami Kriyananda. We will do that. And a man happened to be in the restroom and heard them. Anyway, Swami gave them the name Velociraptors, which we always thought was a great name because they were tough lawyers. They were known for being really velociraptor-ish. And so they were in there. Anandi, sweet Anandi, had to go in, and we knew they were going to give her a super hard time and try and twist her words. We'd seen their antics and their tactics, so we knew she was in for something. I remember walking with her and doing some ancient Sanskrit mantra right before she went in. It was a sweet memory that I have of her. But she said the thing that kept her going in the room, because they kept hitting her with all this, well, wasn't this happening, and weren't you that, and this, and trying to make her say mean things. And she said, I just kept looking at the back of the room, and there was a sign that said, exit. And I kept thinking, if I go through this with the right consciousness, and I'm going to be a yogi, and, it's going to be all right, and I'm going to get out. And I'm going to get out. This is exit lane here. So the yogi tends to think, how am I going to get away from my ocean of suffering? Gita says Krishna says in the Gita, we want to get out of this ocean of suffering. Of course we do. So I was thinking, this letter that Swami wrote, it reminded me of the beginning stage when I was just learning about yoga. And we learned that phrase that's a little bit of the neti process, which is vairagya. And Biraj looked it up for me. But basically, vairagya is dispassion, but it also means you're not affected by the ups and downs of life. You're not reactive. You're centered in your spine, and you don't have to feel the suffering anymore, and you don't get overexcited and then depressed. You don't do that anymore because you're anchored in the center of your heart, in the eternal self. More is vairagya. And then I thought, that's so interesting that Narayani came to Ananda, and the first person she met was Vairagi, who was a nun at Ananda living in Assisi. And the way she met Swami was because Vairagi learned she had cancer and was leaving her body. And she was very Vairagi-ish, she really lived up to her name. And what she thought is, okay, now I need to go say goodbye to Swamiji. And he's going to be in India. So I'm going back to Ananda village because I'm going to leave my body there. She felt that was what was going to happen. She wanted to happen, or was supposed to happen. And so she wanted to say goodbye to Swami. So off she went to India. Well, Narayani heard that Vairagi had cancer, advanced stage, and wanted to say goodbye to her, because she'd been so important to Narayani and her father in discovering Ananda and Assisi. So Narayani and her father said, let's go see Vairagi in India. So that's when they met Swami. When we met them, they came over for Swami's birthday and started helping us decorate. And they met, and that was the first time that they'd been there. So Vairagi being important. And then Swami's letter, when I read it, I thought, now this sounds like somebody who's getting close to leaving, and they're just in Vairagya. This is what it feels like for Swamiji. It was very different than his outward life. He said he was one of the most enthusiastic people anyone ever knew. Not in an outward bouncy up and down way, but just big energy for positive things, just enthusiasm, feeling inspired by God to do things. And it was so big and expansive. And now he just wasn't feeling to go out and do any of those things. They seemed like dust. They seemed like not important. It didn't matter. None of it mattered. He was just kind of closing up shop, in a way. And so when people read it, thought, oh my goodness, this is bad news. But I went on and I found him reading it aloud. Well, he didn't read it aloud. He wrote it in Assisi. He was in Assisi, and it was the Easter celebration. It was Easter Sunday, Easter morning. So he was there to see the community, and packed house, everybody coming to see him, and he hadn't been out very much at all during that time or seeing anyone. So everybody, was there keenly wanting to see him.
Probably a couple hundred, maybe 300 people.
Yeah, totally packed. Yeah, in the temple. And so he had someone.
I think it was Kirpani.
Sahaja.
It wasn't Kirpani?
Yeah, Sahaja.
Oh, you're right.
Read it for him, translated it. So he read it in Italian to the group, or she read it in Italian.
I believe that's right.
To the group. I don't think he read it. I think in both Italian and English, he let her read it. But he was sitting there. So again, I was wondering what is going on for him with this letter. People have their ideas, opinions. I had my thoughts, my feelings, but how does he look? What is this for him? And you see Swami sitting in his chair, and Sahaja's reading this very serious letter, which we'll go through, we'll read it. And he's just basically blissed out, inwardly uplifted, calm, absolutely present, not an inch of sadness showing anywhere. And this was his way of saying goodbye to everyone. And there's some lines in there that you really feel his loving goodbye, what he was saying to everyone. And then you'll do the thing now. So that might be it. That might be it.
Okay. All right. Let's see where we want to go from there. Why don't we do a transitional chant?
Sounds good.
And then we'll start the discussion. Okay. Kind of carrying through on the same theme. Don't have the words up for you, sorry. But this chant, most of us know well. No birth, no death, no caste have I. This happens to be the one that Yogananda, our guru, chose on the day that he was made a Swami. The very first day of his complete renunciation. He chose this chant. And I think it's Adi Shankar's chant. Does anyone remember for sure?
Sounds right to me.
It goes way back, 1,000 years ago, for when it was composed. No birth, no death, no caste have I. No birth, no death, no caste have I. Father, mother, have I none. Father, mother, have I none. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. Mind nor intellect, nor ego feeling. Mind nor intellect, nor ego feeling. Sky nor earth, nor metals am I. Sky nor earth, nor metals am I. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. Beyond all fancy, formless am I. Beyond all fancy, formless am I. Free from dreams of all earthly life. Free from dreams of all earthly life. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Free, oh free, Lord, free in thy bliss. Free, oh free, Lord, free in thy bliss. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. No birth, no death, no caste have I. No birth, no death, no caste have I. Father, mother, have I none. Father, mother, have I none. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. 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 Mind nor intellect, nor ego feeling. Mind nor intellect, nor ego feeling. Sky nor earth, nor metals am I. Sky nor earth, nor metals am I. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. 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 Beyond all fancy, formless am I. Beyond all fancy, formless am I. Free from dreams of all earthly life. Free from dreams of all earthly life. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. 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 Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in thy joy. Free, oh free, Lord, free in thy bliss. Free, oh free in thy bliss. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. 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 Oh, I am he, blessed Spirit, I am he. I am he, blessed Spirit, I am me. All right, if you've got your book with you, let's pick that up. And let's see where we want to start tonight. Let's start on 179. This is in the chapter God Helping God, for those of you that don't have an actual hard copy book. 179. Let's just take a look at a few of the phrases that Narayani uses that are somewhat telling and I found fascinating. And this is going to be, let's see, what part of the page is this going to be? It's the last paragraph. Well, let's do the two last paragraphs. He also said, Narayani is quoting Swamiji here, try to listen for God's message with an open heart. Don't let your personal desires interfere with that process. This helped me understand why, from the beginning, I was so careful not to close myself off from his direct or indirect guidance. My way was to tune in, but not so much to the words that Swami said to me, but to the vibration and the tone of his voice. To me, they carried the meaning more than the words themselves. I'd like to just open that up to see if there's anyone who has any of your own experience about what Narayani is talking about there. Can you relate to what she's saying about tuning into the vibration and the tone more than the words themselves? Chidambar, can we get that mic?
The first time I saw Swami, someone said, go see this guy, he's great. I didn't know him from anybody else, so I went.
Say the phrase again.
Swami,
Uh-huh.
going to see Swami,
For the first time.
first time.
Okay.
Early 80s. Drive up to San Francisco, pick a spot. He comes out. He starts to talk. And I see a big cloud, beautiful cloud, pink cloud, go down this side of the aisle. And it went down the other side of the aisle. I looked around and it met in the back. And I knew it didn't matter at all what he was saying. It was all of the energy.
Whoa. That was your first meeting.
First ever seeing Swami.
Whoa. Thank you. Thank you. Who else? Anything at all. It doesn't have to be that spectacular.
This is really mundane, but when somebody says, I'm not mad, but everything else about them says they are, what do you believe? And so it's tuning into the more vibration.
That's right. That's right. The words can often be a block or a wall about what the feeling, the vibration really is underneath, can't it?
Yeah, I guess that's what makes a great actor. They've got to really feel what they're saying and project that feeling, because if they can't, their words don't really mean what the feeling you're trying to convey. Yeah.
Reading a script without the vibrational feeling underneath doesn't move us, does it?
Yeah.
We can tell. Oh, they're just going through the motions.
Of course, this is totally different, but
No, it's. I think you
It's
get
vibrational.
you get the feeling for it. Who else? Anyone at all?
Vibrations speak louder than words.
Yeah.
I had that experience the first time I read the AY, and really didn't know anything about this path. Had never heard or spoken the word guru, or just no context, for that book. But I picked it up and I just read it so fast. And I'm not a fast reader. I mean, I don't ever do that. But that book just grabbed my attention, and it just carried me all the way through. And, in later years when I read that book, I thought, how could I have read this book so quickly and been so thoroughly satisfied by it? I wouldn't have understood most of what I read, But it must have been just the vibration was just washing over me, and somehow making its way in, and somehow in that way it was a deep experience,
It sounds a lot like what Master said to Swamiji on his second or third sentence that he said to Swamiji. Why did you like that book so much?
My vibration is in it.
Yeah, I put my vibration.
I put my vibration in it. Yeah.
You caught the wave.
Yeah.
Years
Very
later.
similar to Swamiji, who was many years earlier reading that book when karma, reincarnation were totally foreign concepts. He'd never heard most of those words or any of those words, but still that vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yeah, Padmini?
Yeah, I kind of landed up at the village just by chance. I wanted to take a yoga class, and I had no idea about any of this, but it was the energy there that it was like, oh, it just feels like this is great. And oh, you have a church in Palo Alto? All right. So I came here, and I took all the, meditation 1, 2, and especially for meditation 1, I would go out driving home. I would think, do I really like this? Is this for me? Yes. Every time. Yeah, it just felt so good, just the energy all around here. And when I leave here, I am so grateful to be back. If I go on vacation or anything, it's just like, oh, home.
We get the feeling.
Yeah, it's the feeling.
The feeling comes back.
The feeling in the air.
We've probably mentioned this before in this class, but we used to drive from wherever we were posted, whether it was Sacramento or Palo Alto or, I don't know, was there anywhere else on the West Coast? Well, yeah, you did, Portland and Ashland. But every time we would come back driving to the village and we'd get to the Yobu River and start to go up that hill, we would get that feeling, that vibration. I don't know why it was always right there. But some of the rest of you, I think, were nodded when we mentioned this last time and just said, yeah, I felt that feeling too. That was where I felt it. Anybody else? About vibration or tone? Yeah, Nelson. Nelson, right?
Yeah, first day. I guess I'm going to say what you just said is totally relatable to me, because I feel the same way whenever I practice or meditate. Like, that feeling is really new to me. Especially a person my age, I guess, is like, I don't really talk to people about this, but like, I enjoy coming every week or try my best, because I get that experience, and that I'm like, that I feel like I'm doing the right thing, kind of thing, I know that people talk about how the early 20s are confusing, and it's just chaotic.
Oh, none of the rest of us felt that way. No.
And I don't know, it's like, as confusing as life is right now for me with school and everything, I just come here and I feel like, okay, this is good. Which is just a vibration, I guess, too.
It's kind of a very amorphous thing. It's hard to get our hands on it.
Yeah.
It's hard to point to it, but we feel it, don't we?
Yeah, you feel it.
Yeah, and so many of us, when Swami was alive, Swami Kriyananda, we would tend to try to keep would sit at his lectures. Hello, Pooja. Greetings.
Puja.
We would sit in his lectures and, try to keep up with him and try to understand with our minds what was he saying. But Narayani didn't even have the same language that he had early on, so she had no hope to try to follow intellectually what he was saying. But she really mastered this other means of receptive communication by, okay, I don't know what you're saying, but I know what you're feeling. I know what you're trying to convey, even though intellectually we may not share the same words. Oh, amazing. Anything else on this topic from anyone?
I just wanted to remark
Yes,
to you
Padmini.
that there's lots of young people here that you can talk about this too. This is not the young group, but
Yeah.
there are really lots of
Sunday mornings, you'll find young people. Okay. Anything else on this? Shall we move on to another part? Okay. Let's pick up another one of her phrases, and then we'll turn it over to you for a little while. This one. This is in the chapter You Will Need Help on page 198. Oh, 199. Sorry, 199. And the paragraph in the book, at least, it's, well, let's go back a little bit. Let's actually go back to the bottom of 198. Let's do the third paragraph from the bottom. This is where she's been finally realizing that she's falling in love with Shurjo, and she doesn't know what this is going to mean for her role with Swamiji. She's been so close and so absolutely present every minute of every day with Swamiji, and here she's starting to contemplate what to do about that. So we're going to read the next three paragraphs. Hey, Chidambar, would you mind reading it for us? Can we give him the mic? You see where we are? Third paragraph from the bottom. Finally, after 6 months. Hold it real close so we can all hear you.
Finally, after 6 months, it was clear to me that my connection to Shurjo was a karma that had to be faced and decided. It was then that I brought the issue to Swamiji. He listened to my words, but more than that, I felt he was listening to Master's voice behind my own. When I finished, he said only, "Let me meditate on it." We said good night. He went to his meditation room. I went to bed, but didn't sleep a wink. At 5 a.m. the next morning, Swami came to my room. "I think it would be good for you to be with Sergio," he said. "If you are going to serve Master in the way I see for you, you will need help. Sergio can help you."
Great, thank you. Now especially that phrase in that last paragraph, I wanted to call your attention to and see what you thought was going on there. I think it would be good for you to be with Sergio, he said. Swami continued, "If you are going to serve Master in the way I see for you, you will need help." What do you think? What do you think is going on there? What's he talking about? What is Swami saying to Narayani there? Yeah, and there's no right answer. This is purely open to speculation. What do you feel that Narayani's being told there? What's your best guess? Or
Well,
what does your
I
heart say?
just had the thought that maybe Swami really was quite aware of what was ahead of him, and that he would need her more and more, and she would need backup for when he was not there. I really didn't have a sense of particulars as to what she might need his help for, except strength and courage for, she was going to be giving every moment practically which he was already doing, but even more so as his personal assistant. And I just thought, I bet he's foreshadowing what's to come.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good guess. What else? There's no right answer. Who else has got a? What did you think when you first read it? What was going on there? What was he talking about?
I thought he was thinking, he had big plans for her.
Mhm.
He could see what she was capable of, and that Sergio would be able to be a great asset to helping her.
There's another theory. Yeah. What else? Anybody? Oh, no. Chidambar? Oh, go ahead.
I think, I mean, Sergio also had the language of both English and Hindu, and he had
Hindi, yeah.
Hindi, and the knowledge and awareness of all that, of having grown up there, and also, at least what it seemed, that known to be a good organizer and very good detail person, and it seems like it would be that Swamiji knew that it would be a good fit. But more than that, I think he also must have clearly have felt that they were meant to be together. I mean, I get that feeling also that, I mean, through his meditation, that
Maybe.
he must, because he was already he was already seeing them married.
Sorry. Chidambar?
Yeah, when I read it, I felt that he knew what Narayani needed for her own spiritual growth. And I really felt that that was great. And it also fit into everything he was doing, but he didn't take her and use her. It was clear for her, and we're going to go forward.
Nice. Kamaladevi.
She had been, she had developed so much her inner attunement and this quietness. And though, that quietness can have great power, having a partner who's more vocal, more naturally
Right.
outgoing, maybe, would be good for both of them. He could sort of get things rolling, and then she could come in on that, or she could help them go deeper, and he could ride on that. So together they're, observing them now, this is what it feels like, is they're very good fit, very balanced together, and together they're becoming more like each other. So maybe that's something that he saw.
Maybe. Thank you. Anyone else? Geertz? I thought your mind was stirring there.
So Narayani had her doubts, right? And Swami said, you can't wait a few years, you have to marry him now. I think
that was a little scary to her.
I think I heard it before. Like, Jyotish was telling us that he asked Swamiji about this girl, Devi. And then Swami said, you should just marry her.
I'd
So
forgotten.
I'm wondering, does it happen often? That Swami kind of just sees...
I haven't heard any stories like this. No. So I think it's a little bit unique, but maybe not the first time it's ever happened with Swamiji.
I think, too, that the way he said, if you are going to serve Master in the way I see for you, you will need help. So up until this point, Narayani was totally focused on serving Swami. That was her world. And she didn't think beyond that or outside of that. That was everything. And now, Swamiji's getting close to the end of his life. And I think that's part of the reason, like, don't wait 2 years. It has to be now. You have to, in that meditation, I think probably a lot happened that he saw. Do it now, and you need the help. And yes, of course, because he was thinking, as Chidambar said, what's going to happen with Narayani when I'm gone? What will be her steps? And if you are going to serve Master in the way I see. So, yeah, he saw a lot of her service to Master. I think as he was with her, he could see that. And I think we're just seeing the beginning of that now. So we follow her career with interest.
Indeed, indeed. Anything else on that topic from anyone? Okay, let's take the next 10 or 15 minutes with, 10 minutes anyway, with your own, any passages that you hit on this week that you would like to highlight for the group or open for discussion. Anyone have something from what they read? Yeah, Chidambar, go. Can you give us a page?
It was early on in the first chapter that we read.
Okay.
And Swami said, my greatest joy comes from helping others.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah. When he told her to sit with the lady in the waiting room of the airport who had lost her passport and was upset, he kept sending her back. And then suddenly she felt all this joy. And she knew, he's trying to teach me. Find more joy in helping others.
Selfless karma yoga. Thank you. Any comments about that passage? Want to give her the mic?
I loved her comments, so honest and open about, I think I just took care of that, now I can go back to Swami. Oh, now I've been there for a while, I think I can go back to Swami. Oh, I see, I'm supposed to stay longer. Oh, he wants something else. What is, and then that experience of letting go of everything and being there. Just really, I thought, how many of us have been there? Okay, I'll do a little bit over here, and then I can go back and do what I was really wanting to do anyway.
She writes so vulnerably.
Honestly.
Obviously, I'm not perfect at the moment, but I'll keep trying to tune in to find out where Dharma lies, because I'm not there yet.
Plus, what a challenge. I mean, her total focus was on Swamiji. So, of course, she would see that as her primary thing to be concerned about in the airport. And to be able to expand that out, to be able to tune in that way and know that it was okay to do that, it's really beautiful.
And it's what he always did himself. He was always thinking about, what does the shopkeeper need right now? What does the person who's lonely over there need right now? What is the person who's clinging to the back row and is too shy to get involved with the rest of the group? What do they need right now? He was always had somebody in his radar that wasn't to his advantage, but was to theirs. And he was just teaching her how to do that, to think about that. Padmini, do you happen to have one? I see you searching through your book there. Oh, you want to get the mic? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have one more thing?
I have one that
All right,
I'd
hang
really
on.
like
Hang on to that thought, Padmini.
This is the very last page.
Last page of the book?
Yeah.
Last page.
Of 233, and this just really, really stopped me in my tracks. This is the third paragraph. I have come to believe that Swami's death was not scheduled for that day. It was a special grace, a blessing from his guru. He would willingly have continued to serve for a few years longer, writing more books, perhaps making that movie on Master's life, and who knows what else. His essential work, though, was finished. He had more than fulfilled his Guru's commission to him. You have a great work to do. I was just really struck by that interpretation of it have been grace, that master's gift in a way that Swami, because I just have always thought Swami knew he was dying. We may have known in general that he was about to soon, but I never stopped to think that Master called him in that way. I mean, I don't know what other people may think about it. It was very moving to me.
Yeah.
No, I find that potential ability in the great ones intriguing and a little overwhelming. You know, when Master could foretell how he was going to die, and you know, warning people a day or two ahead that, you know, that I got a big day tomorrow. Give me luck. Wish me luck. All that.
Well,
kind
it
of thing.
seems clear that in Swamiji's letter to us at Easter that he was certainly aware of wanting us to be thinking about it, and that he knew that he was coming, that he had fulfilled the work that was there to do.
Many of us, as we read that letter, my wife might have been an exception, but many of us didn't get that, didn't understand at the time. We were puzzled by it. We were a little concerned about how depressed he sounded, and a little concerned that maybe he was just getting tired of being old. You know, and it was just, we didn't get the clues right away. Many of us, anyway. And yeah, even in Ananda village, you know, they had a hard time putting that message. I mean, it had originally been sent just to a circle of people. I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 around the world. And then when the next we heard, and this was from Ananda village, they really couldn't wrap their aura around what Swami had been saying. And it was just too hard for them to accept what Swami was trying to hint. They weren't ready for it. And so we kind of tried to pretend it was saying something else. And we just weren't, you know, he was too subtle for us. I think as Swami admitted when Master left all those hints, people didn't get it. Most people didn't get it. I think maybe Dayamata might have, but there may have been two or three who tuned in better than most. But you know, it was tough to hear your guru saying, "I'm about gone."
Yeah.
And get ready.
Yeah, Swami had readings that said he was going to live to be
93 or something.
90-something. And, you know, it's mentioned in here, Swami said, oh, the thought of staying in this body that long is horrible. But he was willing. He was absolutely willing, and he always kept himself engaged and busy and doing creative work and all that. As Narayani said, he would have just kept doing that. But it's sweet that his guru kind of gave him that blessing. Like, you've done enough. It's okay. You know, you've finished. And no, you don't have the karma to have to stay in your body all that much longer. You can just leave now. I think that's very sweet, very loving. And Swami gave everybody plenty of warning, really. I mean, he was that way. I mean, he passed the baton over years and years and years to all the leaders. You know, it wasn't just, here it is and run. You know, he really worked with them so they'd be really ready. You know, like the man that visited, who'd been to a number of different spiritual communities as spiritual leaders, and said, you know, I'm not sure how the other ones are going to be when the leader leaves, but Ananda, I think it's going to do fine because you have trained so many people so long and so well. It's going to continue with that same consciousness, you know. And you see it now. I mean, Narayani's consciousness, you know, when we had her here visiting, you know, there's a lot of Swami that's coming through, as it has through all the leaders we've all been raised with, all the colony leaders, the first generation and on. But and it's still happening for the young people, you know, which is fun.
second generation
And
is going to
they're-
do just fine. Thank you very much.
Whatever generation we're in, the 20, Narayani was 24 when she met her, so the 20, 21, 22, all of the new people coming have a lot of good, people who were born to do this, I think. They have younger bodies than we do now, but the spirit of tuning into Master and doing this great work for the world, this great consciousness, the movement of consciousness that it is. More and more we're seeing, I was just watching in Assisi, they had did Ruby come here? Have you guys met Ruby from Assisi yet? Anyway,
I don't think
one
she's
of the
been here.
dynamic young
She might have
people.
been
I
at the
imagine
village.
at some point she'll come. But she and Dana's daughter Rachel and others were leading one of those spirit and youth kind of things that the young people come to and just have fun together and learn how to meditate, learn how to serve, go on pilgrimage, just have a great time, a lot of outings, kind of like spiritual fun camp, but with a lot of opportunities to learn the teachings in a fun way. And I was watching the picture of all of them. They were doing some karma yoga at Moksha Mandir in the front. And Ananda was out there with them cutting stuff, and they were doing gardening, and they just all looked so happy. I said the spirit is so alive in Ananda with this young generation coming out. Some of them probably were on a break from college, others probably just out of college, but very young people just getting it. This feels really good. This is right. I'm learning all this, and it feels like mine. So it continues.
Padmini, did you happen to have one? No? Chidambar, I think, does. Did you see the mental wheels grinding over here? Tell us where you found it.
Okay, it's 220, about a little more than halfway down.
220 is in the
Yeah,
God's Call Within chapter, I think.
Right.
No, it's actually in the Moksha chapter. 220. Halfway down?
the very hallmark of my nature has been enthusiasm. Even though I've been always aware that I could never really accomplish anything significant in this world. Suddenly now I feel bereft of that enthusiasm. Maybe it's because my heart feels very tired. I want only to merge into God. The only lingering thought is that I would like to bring all of you with me.
Indeed.
No, I am far from tired of you. I want only your freedom in God. So that's what, that struck me, the fact that he didn't really care one way or the other didn't mean anything. He was going to God. And that meant the rest of the stuff was just yes, no, and maybe. And he was going, and he wanted all of us to go with him.
Yeah.
There is hope.
Yeah, amidst a lot of challenging language and what it might even be called depressive language, certainly vairagyish. I love the way you made that an adjective, the vairagyish language. Yeah, there were those moments where in that same letter he just goes, well, there's only one thing worth doing, and that's you come and do it with me, but don't hold me back. Don't wish I didn't get to go, because I'm going there. I want to be going there. Merge with God. Yeah. Let's turn to that letter, and let's just tune into a little more of it. And it starts on page 219. And Geertz, would you read? I don't know. The whole first page is a paragraph. So all the way over just a little over to the top of the next one. Let's read the whole letter, and then we'll have some discussion about it.
Put on your Vairagya hat. I know you have one.
So here's the one that we were talking about, the email at Easter that then got sent to the all around the world, all the communities, all the Ananda communities, and was read out loud, as Lahari was mentioning, on Easter morning at the Assisi Center in the Assisi Temple. So this is what was read that Easter morning in 2013.
Dear ones, I wish I could bless each and every one of you with a happy Easter. Easter is a time symbolizing the eventual resurrection of our little individual selves into the one infinite self. I suggest at this time, particularly, that you study and meditate on the photograph of Master titled The Last Smile, and consider this amazing fact. He knew that in just a few moments he would be leaving this physical body forever. There is no thought of self in his eyes, of personal regret, of sorrow. Clearly visible in his eyes and in his facial expression is his unconditional love for all mankind. His readiness to return again and again, as he put it, as long as one stray brother sits weeping by the wayside. Such love for ego-centered humanity is not even conceivable. And this was the love Jesus, too, felt for all humanity. People weep for him and his suffering on the cross. His suffering was only for humanity that blindly rejects God's love and substitutes for it vengefulness and hatred.
Thank you. Thank you. Chandra, would you read the next series down to the end of the paragraph over on the next page?
You know, I said this to a Catholic nun once, and she screamed. And I told her that Jesus didn't have to feel that pain. It was like her whole life.
There are strong beliefs
Oh my God,
faith.
she stopped talking to me. Anyway.
So I have been going through starting there, over to just the top of the next page.
Okay. I have been going through a personal Armageddon. Nothing in this world attracts me anymore. Nothing at all holds any pleasant memories. None of those experiences, whether interpersonal or outward in any way, holds the slightest attraction for me. Must I really live another 5 years, as has been predicted for me? I confess the very idea appalls me. I have done so much in my life to please God. The very hallmark of my nature has been enthusiasm, even though I've been always aware that I could never really accomplish anything significant in this world. Suddenly, now, I feel bereft of that enthusiasm. Maybe it's because my heart feels very tired. I want only to merge in God. The only lingering thought is that I would like to bring all of you with me.
You can go a little bit more till they mean nothing to me.
Okay. No, I am far from tired of you. I want only your freedom in God. But no, your worldly attachments, identities, and desires, I have to confess, mean simply nothing to me, as my own mean nothing to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Lahari, you want to go ahead and finish the letter for us?
No, this doesn't mean I love you less. I love you much more, for I love that part of you which is eternally real. But whether I succeed or fail in my projects is to me meaningless. All the things I once considered pleasurable are to me now displeasing. I want nothing that this world has to offer. People tell me I'm famous. That phrase to me also is meaningless. People often marvel at all I've been able to accomplish in this life. To me, it all seems only dust. If we must resurrect our souls, let it be from the delusion that anything in this cosmic dream holds some worthwhile reality for us. We are children of God. That is our soul reality. Love, Swami.
Let's go back for a moment to the bottom of the first page on 219, the bottom of the first page of the email. And this was the love Jesus too felt for all humanity. People weep for him and his suffering on the cross, but his suffering was only for humanity. His suffering was only for humanity that blindly rejects God's love. I want you to ponder on that for a moment. This theme that Swamiji brought into this last letter of his life. The suffering that the great ones feel was only for humanity that blindly rejects God's love. Your thoughts? What does that? What happens inside you? Hey, Puja. When you hear that, the great ones are suffering only that humanity is blindly rejecting God's love. Can you relate to that? Does it seem valid?
Yeah, it strikes me when I see people making bad choices. And I realize that this could be 10 lifetimes until they get back to where they're standing right now. And, it just hurts. So that's a rejection of God's love.
Yeah. And how much more, if we feel that, how much more must a great saint notice, oh my goodness, don't they see what's possible? Who else? Anyone at all? Puja? It's all right. If you've got something to say about this, it's all right. Okay.
I think it's radical.
Radical. Why?
Because I think this really speaks to what an avatar really is. And I think it's not generally known or understood or accepted easily, and I think that's why what he said about Jesus not suffering except for humanity is radical to most. And I just think it's like, wow.
We don't think of this as the role that they're chiefly
Well,
playing.
and he says here, such love for ego-centered humanity is not even conceivable.
Too often we just can't think that that's...
We may have our moments, like you were saying, that we can feel that pain.
Whenever you touch your body with the microphone.
Is that what's doing it?
That might be, yeah, you may be right. Okay. Okay.
Anyway.
Anyone else about this topic?
I was thinking that physical suffering, in a way, is easier to accept. It's easier to fix than mental or emotional suffering. I mean, because that's within the person that's doing the suffering. Somebody else can come along and fix a person's broken leg, but you can't fix a person's broken heart.
Or making wrong choices.
No,
Choices that
no,
don't bring
it's
you
some,
Godward.
you can listen to them but in the end, it's that person that has to do it, and that is incredibly difficult.
Yes. And when a saint looks out at people that they would like to help and bring along in the direction they themselves are going, and someone just is oblivious to it or is attached to some desire that keeps them from moving Godward, it must really hurt. And that's the suffering that Swami was talking about. Swami was talking about it in other saints, but what was he implying about himself? I think he was telling us about himself in many of these little analogies and little stories that took 2 or 3 sentences. He was trying to remind us what saintly people are feeling. Things like this. It's what about this thing that Chidambar read for us earlier? I want merely to merge in God. Later he finishes with, we are all children of God. That is our sole reality. You know, we have a destination. We have a destiny. If we but stop resisting it. And it's that our resistance again that he says that's the only suffering we feel when we see the people we care about aren't moving forward. Your thoughts on that? Anything at all? Padmini? Something you want to say on it?
I didn't pick up on that, but how did he spell soul in this? S-O-U-L or S-O-L-E, like it's one?
S-O-L-E in the sentence I just
Okay,
read.
all right.
It's the sole goal. It's the only thing worth aiming at. What other phrase in this last letter either impressed you or bothered you? Because as I say, when this letter first came out, it bothered a lot of people. A lot of very fine people just, grabbed onto pieces that scared them rather than inspired them. So in either side of it that you want to talk about. Anywhere else in this 3 pages of emails?
Well, it's also a little bit challenging. I mean, you can imagine on page 221, the last paragraph. This is Easter. All the Ananda leaders are coming up with ways for how to spread Master's work around the world and how to work with all the meditation 1, 2, 3, 4, the Raja Yoginis, the Kriyabans, they're all engaged 100% in how to serve all these people and how to get the work out there the way Master wanted.
In the right directions.
And now, if we must resurrect our souls, let it be from the delusion that anything in this cosmic dream holds some worthwhile reality for us. I mean, you have to believe in the service that you're doing. You have to believe in the life that you're leading and the people that you're helping. You have to believe in the work that you're doing.
Well,
to hear Swami, who's been the one at the front of the charge for all their life at Ananda, leading the charge. Come on, let's make it bigger. Let's have 1 million members. Do you remember sitting in Asha's living room one year? The goal this year, let's have 1 million members. It makes the eyes go very big and the jaw sort of drop and you think, ooh, how can we possibly do that? But he's calling us to do it, so let's give it our best. That was the relationship everyone had with Swami. And now he's it doesn't mean anything. None of it means anything. Well, it still has to mean something to the people who are doing all the work, or else the work's not going to get done. But he's reminding us what is the most only important thing is our relationship with God. None of the things, the projects, people are more important than things, but now he's taking it another step further. People are not more important than God. Which is the advanced course, right?
And even projects aren't
And,
important.
things, projects are sort of in between because they always involve people and getting things done. So projects are, a combination. But none of it matters. So, how does one work with that freedom? He did live in that freedom. But he was so dynamic in his forward-moving, expansive in his ability to share and magnetize and inspire and guide and, all of it. It was quite an example. But it always comes back, even for a person with that much of a great work to do that Master gave him, how many books, how many music, how many communities, how many thousands of Kriyabans, how much. Big, 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 very, very, very expansive. But now he's saying at the end of the life, you know what? It's the same for all of us. We want to be resurrected in the spirit. We want to merge with God. That's the point, the sole reason for our lives and incarnations and projects and service. All of it is for this. So he walks in that, showing us.
Chandra?
Everything you said is true, Lahari. The problem is there's no shortcut. And so maybe.
Isn't there?
Well, I think if there were, we would find it and take it, but there's not. And so you can't say you want to merge with God when you're not spiritually ready.
It just doesn't happen like that, just because you say so.
And I'm thinking maybe it was grace that allowed him to leave his body when he did, because if he didn't leave his body, he would have to deal with, I don't know, not being active, he would have to still have keep his consciousness high, and so how was he going to do that? I guess be in meditation all the time.
Well, and remember, he had been fighting, basically he had been having trips to the hospital and to the doctors, certainly monthly, if not weekly sometimes, for 20 years.
Yeah.
And all through that time, he kept his consciousness high enough to keep putting out these wonderful books and these new songs and new stories for films. So it's like, how did he keep his consciousness above his body for that continuously and that long? It was quite a challenge. I mean, I think partly we're seeing what saints can do.
Yeah.
And we're still aiming for ourselves to get as close behind that example as our karma and our will power can take us. It's a big challenge. Big challenge. Jennifer?
Swami was free. And so what he's showing us is what that looks like. And so don't space out on, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing all the rest of these things. The very absolute basic, most important thing is you're part of God and you're going home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, he was a saint. We loved to see him. I went to see him in 05 and 07 because I thought he wasn't going to live. It was clear he wasn't going to live another 6 months. And he just kept going.
He kept the grace of God kept him sharing. I think this is the time to read the last letter.
Okay. So back to this story with Narayani.
So, page 223. We'll bring it home.
So as we said in the beginning of the class and throughout, we're trying to attune ourselves to the consciousness of freedom. In our souls, it's never left that we came from God in a free, open, loving relationship, and we're going through our adventures and karmas, and we're headed back there. So to be reminded by great souls that that's where we came from, and that's where we're going. Swamiji, remember saying to someone who was going through biggest karma of their life, all confused and suffering, had a meeting with him and came back to the office with this little sign that Swamiji had said, remember, the goal is freedom. So Gyanamata would say, see nothing but the goal shining before you. Because what we concentrate on is what we move toward, what we become identified with. So that freedom, moksha, as this chapter is talking about, is what we're focusing on tonight. So Narayani's response as the devotee.
She reread his letter 4 times, trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
She had some of the same doubts that many of us did when we first read it.
Swamiji was ready to leave this earth. It wasn't an affirmation, it was his consciousness. St. Paul declared at the end of his life, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Swamiji too had finished his race. There was nothing to be sad about. He was ready to merge back into God. He was free. I wrote him the following note, which turned out to be the last email we exchanged. Dearest Swamiji, I reread again and again your email, and actually, it is really, really inspiring. I didn't enjoy that much when I read it first, because I don't enjoy to see you losing enthusiasm. But at the same time, it is quite inspiring to see you so ready and detached from your own personality and above all personal experiences, just ready to merge back in God. I wish you could carry me with you when you go. I will be very happy for you when you leave this body. I know Master has a place for you next to him on the other side. Thank you for sending this message. Really beautiful. I am now in front of Master's last smile picture. I hope you never lose the enthusiasm for having me around. You are stock with me. Good night, Narayani. To which Swamiji writes, Dear Narayani, the word is stuck, not stock, and I'm very happy to be stuck as your stock friend. Love you always, Swami. And just as Narayani was having her last moments of thinking about Swamiji and saying goodbye to him in that way, when we heard Swamiji left the body, many of us got together in the temple here in Palo Alto, in the community temple, in the middle of 11:30 at night, when we got the word that he stopped breathing. We all got together and spontaneously, we were all thinking about Swami. We weren't thinking, because he ran the race. He crossed the finish line. This was a cause for celebration. That was the spirit in the room. It was just, people who'd been with him a long time, been around Ananda a long time, and were able to see this as a moment of celebration and of gratitude. And one of the early songs that popped out, we passed the harmonium. People were playing different songs as they felt inspired to celebrate Swami's soul as it was merging in God. And one of the songs that came to us was the one that Biraj is going to sing now. So I invite us to end this with tuning into this song, in the spirit of this song, and Swamiji's freedom as he had that moment of merging in God, and also the blessing that he wants to take us all with him. So as much as we can lean into that consciousness, imagining or feeling or thinking or tuning in to the freedom that our soul is never forgotten, and that we will again merge in God and completely realize that freedom.
And the words are going to be up on the wall. But I'm going to start it with the Sanskrit. That won't be up there. Ekam nityam bimalam achalam sarvade sakshi bhutam bhavatitam trigunaranitam sadgurum tvam namami. Sorry, let me go back and add in the first verse. Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Gyanamurtim Twandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Dilaksham, full of bliss, giving joy transcendent, of higher knowledge, the abode, dual no more, clear as the heavens, known to all as thou art that. He is pure, permanent, unmoving, the everlasting seer of all, far, far beyond qualities and thought. Guru Lord, I bow to thee. Guru Lord, bow to thee, Guru Lord. I bow to thee. Let's meditate for a few minutes on these qualities of these great, great saints.